What is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez, back with another Prize Picks video for you. Today's Tuesday, May 16th, 2023. We're talking MLB player props over on Prize Picks. As always, I hope this video finds you all doing well and in good spirits. We'll kick things off with a recap over yesterday's plays and then jump right into the Prize Picks board because I do have a few plays that I personally like, and I want to share those with you today. So if you like the way that sounds, I encourage you to stick around, drop a like, drop a sub, click that notification icon, get notified of all upcoming content and videos from me and my channel. And without further delay, let us jump into those plays from yesterday. All right, not a bad day. Honestly, nice return back to the MLB player prop world. Go 2-1 on the day yesterday. Really quick recap here. So we had the over on Tanner Houck's 4.5 strikeouts versus the Seattle Mariners. Listen, he got rocked. He gave up 4 earned runs, but he struck out 5, and that's all we care about. We figured he'd give up a few runs because that's been his, MO this year, but he squeaked out that 5th strikeout before being relieved and got credited for the two of the 3 runs that were given up by the relief pitcher because he left those runners on base. So got credited with 4 earned runs, but he himself gave up 2 prior to leaving that game. Doesn't matter. He struck out 5 people. That's all we care about. We took the over on Paul Goldschmidt's fantasy score yesterday. And he was also our 4-bagger swagger call of the day. So ended the game with, I believe it was 19 fantasy points, if I'm not mistaken. Last time I checked the box score, it was 19. That game was a rout. And as soon as he hit his fantasy prop, I was pretty happy. Was really hoping for a home run later in that game, but it was his teammate Nolan Arenado who crushed that home run instead of Goldie. And then we had the over 0.5 total bases on Nick Pratto. I'm not going to do the Macho Man voice today. Even just doing what I did yesterday, I can feel it damaging my vocal cords a little bit. So we're going to not do the Macho Man or the terrible Macho Man impersonation. But Nick Pratto, not much of a Macho Man yesterday. 0.5 was the total bases prop, and he went under. He was 0 for 4 yesterday. That was our those were our plays from yesterday. So overall 2-1 on the day. Looking to continue that momentum in today's video. Let's head over to the Prize Picks board, and we'll start talking about some of these plays. All right, back. I keep saying back on the Prize Picks board. This is our first time on the Prize Picks board looking at the MLB player props. So we're over on the Prize Picks board, and I actually like a lot of pitching props today. But for this video, I have 2 pitcher props. I have 1 hitter prop that's inclusive of our 4-bagger swagger call of the day. So let us just get right to it. And I want to talk about a walks allowed prop. So let's head on over to the walks allowed prop, scroll on down, and let's talk a little bit about Mr. Justin Steele. Over 1.5 walks allowed versus the Houston Astros. I like the over on this one. We're headed over to props.cash so we can break this one down. All right, pulling up Justin Steele's game log over his first handful of starts this season. We can see that he has gone over this prop in 3 out of those 5 starts for a 60% hit rate. Now, in all but all but 2 starts, he's allowed at least 2 walks. In some games, in one game he gave up 3, in one game he gave up 4 walks here. So it's looking like a promising prop for us today. Now, in addition to that, we have to pay attention to how well the Astros are hitting as of late. And what we see here is they rank in the top 10 in the major leagues in terms of drawing walks. And so the closer this number is to 1 being the best, the less they're striking out, the more walks they're drawing, the more pitchers are throwing. And so this number right here favors the under on K props. But I also like it favoring the over on the walks allowed prop. And we can see that this is not a fluke. Houston does have they have some good eyes in that lineup. And so back in 2022, they still ranked in the top 10 with a very, very low or high, however you're looking at this, bases on ball percentage. So again, in 2023, they're picking up where they left off. So that also works in our favor. So if they're going to be forcing a lot of extra pitches, Pitchers tend, the more pitchers they throw, some pitchers tend to, unravel and, get a little sloppy with the pitches thrown. So there's a high likelihood of this going over. So I like that. We got that working for us. Now, also, one thing to keep in mind is how good the Houston Astros have been as of late versus left-handed pitching. So currently, they are the #1 ranked team in the MLB in terms of strikeouts versus left-handed pitcher, only striking out 15.4% of the time. Or you can look at this as they are dead last in terms of, striking out to left-handed pitchers. Saying that they're #1 is actually more accurate because they strike out the least amount of times versus left-handed pitching in the MLB. So you have a pitcher who is up against an offense who is not striking out a lot and who tends to draw a lot of pitches from opposing pitchers. This recipe really creates a nice favorable odd for us. So I like the over 1.5 walks allowed for Justin Steele versus the Houston Astros as our first prop on the day. All right, second prop on the board. I want to talk about a earned runs allowed, and it's going to be for Kyle Muller. 2.5 earned runs allowed versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. I like the over on this one. We're going to head back to props.cash and we'll use some of the game logs to help break this one down. All right, got a lot of interesting notes here for you all. Hope you have your pens and pencils and pads ready. Such an old school dated thing to say. Like, how old am I? Nobody uses pens and pads anymore. Come on now. All right, we have Muller on the year. Now let's look at what he's done over his last 4 starts. These are his earned runs allowed: 1, 2, 6, and 1. Now we need him to give up a minimum of 3 runs today versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's talk about why I like this. So number 1, Muller, he's given up some walks. So how do the walks play into earned runs? I'll get into that. So giving up 1.5 walks per start over the last 3 starts, he's given up a total of 7 walks, averaging 2.3 in these starts. Muller's strikeouts are also very suppressed over his last 4 starts. He's only averaging 3.5 strikeouts in those 4 starts, very consistently getting you 3, except for that one game versus Cleveland where he struck out 5. So you have a pitcher who has very suppressed numbers when it comes to strikeouts, who is going to walk a few batters. And so, I see a scenario for Muller going over his 2.5 earned runs prop, where he's unable to strike batters out. He's unable to gain, enough strikeouts. He's walking batters, so he's putting runners on base. And at the same time, he's going to give up some hits. So anytime you give up hits with runners on, the chances of that becoming an RBI at bat increase. And so these are the types of scenarios that I see playing out for Kyle Muller today. Walking batters, not striking out a lot of batters, and then giving up hits. That's a recipe for success for us, but a recipe for disaster if you're a pitcher. You don't want to load the bases or put runners on and then keep giving up hits or not be able to retire the side. So all that factor in makes me like the over on the 2.5 runs allowed for Kyle Muller. So we're rolling with it. That is going to be our second prop on the day. All right, and for our third and fourth props on the board, I want to talk about a total bases prop for one Rafael Devers. I like the over on this one. Not only do I like the over on his total bases prop, but I like the over on 1 home run today because Rafael Devers is our 4-bagger swagger call of the day. Let's head on over to props.cash and we will break this down. All right, over on props.cash, we have Devers. Last 10 games pulled up. That was a very flat dun-dun-dun-dun. That was supposed to emulate a trumpet or something. It should have been a little higher pitched. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Something like that. All right, we have Devers over his last 10 games going over this line of 1.5 total bases 50% of the time. The other 50%, he's hooking it, giving you 1 in a couple of games, he didn't give you none. He gave you nothing. He ain't give you nothing. So most of the time, he's going to give you at least one hit. Now, not the best numbers versus Luis Castillo today. However, does have 3 plate appearances, 1 single for a .333 slugging and batting average. But what makes me like the over on this prop, it's not going to be his numbers, his personal history versus Castillo. It's going to be his numbers versus right-handed pitching today. And that's exactly what Luis Castillo is. So on the season, Devers is batting .282 with a .281 ISO, 113 plate appearances versus those righties, 5 doubles and 8 home runs in those at-bats. Now, when we just filter out the hits, we can get a little bit more of a detailed view. So 16 singles, 5 doubles, 8 home runs, and in terms of his RBIs, 28 RBIs versus righties this season. That's what makes me like the over on this one for Rafael Devers. In terms of his RBIs, in terms of his hits, this has been a lot more consistent over the last, handful of starts. His total bases, though, we do want to see this, at 2. And that can be done with 1 at bat. It can be done with a single. It could be done with a home run. That would be amazing. You get 4 total bases out of a home run. I like the odds of that. So I really like this position for Rafael Devers. Still at home, hitting in Fenway, hitter-friendly ballpark. I mean, this looks like a good spot for him and the rest of the Red Sox. But right now we're focusing on Devers going yard, racking up a home run, and trotting his ass around those bases, racking up more than 1.5 total bases. I like the over here for Rafael Devers as our 3rd and 4th play of the day. All right, let's quickly recap these 3 plays. We like the over Justin Steele, 1.5 walks allowed. We like the over 2.5 earned runs allowed, Kyle Muller. And then we like the over 1.5 total bases for Rafael Devers, as well as 1 home run for Rafael Devers, as he is today's 4-bagger swagger call of the day. And ladies and gentlemen, speaking of calls, we are going to call it right now. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel, checking this video out. Drop a comment below. Let me know who you like on this board, as well as your thoughts over these 4 plays that we talked about in today's video. As always, thank you all so much for all your continued support, the likes, the subs, the comments. It truly helps this channel get a bit bigger every single day. Best of luck to you all today. Should you tail any of these plays, drop a comment letting me know. And until tomorrow's MLB Player Prop Prize Picks video, Chavez is